Hello, my name is Guido, and in this very short video I will be explaining the installation of GenomePro 2 on another server, and some tips on how to maintain GenomePro 2 if issues arise. To install GenomePro on another server, first make sure that the server being installed on has Apache 2 and cron support. The server must be running on a Unix or Linux-based operating system for the site to work correctly, and the Postgres database system should also be installed. Once those requirements are done, moving GenomePro is very simple. First, move all the files and folders belonging to the site to the root directory of the new host web service folder. This includes all the controllers, views, and libraries, and should keep all the files and folders that users own, which are found under the delivery folder. It is highly advised not to change the name of any folder or files unless need be, in which you can edit the global variables found on the config PHP script under the config folder so that the site can now work with the change of dependencies. If there is some sort of error, it is very possible that one of the pages on the site may not be configured correctly, in which can be fixed easily by visiting the page in question and performing some debugging to find the issue. However, overall, if you do not change any name of any file or folder, the site should work just as fine. Using sudo cron tab E, make sure you also add the 3 corresponding lines to run the cron jobs on the cron folder under the helper folder from the root directory. These are job processor, file validator, and DB cleaner. Make sure these run every minute except the DB cleaner, which should only run once per day. Also, make sure that you edit the cron tab with sudo privileges, as most programs are protected and only executable with root permissions. Finally, to make sure that GenomePro is successfully installed and works, is to make sure that the new database schema is identical to the previous one. There are database schema backups on the site directory if a new database is created to quickly remake the basic structure. A backup of user data is also found, but it may or may not be needed depending on if you want to start a fresh version of GenomePro. In such a case, it is recommended that you also delete the contents of the delivery folder, since those users will no longer exist. Also, note that any changes to the username and password required to access the database and run queries, or any other component from the original server that were changed, may result in a necessary step to also modify the config folder where those definitions are stored. For maintaining the site, there are a couple of things you can do when problems arise. If for some reason the cron jobs are no longer working, or it is taking too long to process some of the jobs, it might be that the cron job is hanging. To stop the cron job, first comment the line in question under the cron tab, and then kill the process that is running your PHP script. To get the process ID, there is a handy way of doing this, which involves manually running said PHP script using the terminal commands to run PHP code. There is a function implemented on each of the cron scripts that were created by us that tells you if there is already another instance of that script running, with its process ID. Once you kill the process, find the bug within the cron job, and you can uncomment the line under the cron tab to resume normal operations. In case something goes wrong with the database, you can use PHP pgadmin for a graphical user interface to modify rows, columns, or tables within the database. This might become useful for when you want to manually cancel a job in queue, promote a user to admin, ban a user, and more. You are only limited by the creative queries that you can make. When creating new tools or adding new features to the site, I highly recommend visiting the Readme file that I have created on the root folder. This file contains a lot of information on how you should approach adding new features to the site. It also explains a bit more, aside from the project documentation, the elements and composition of certain things within the PHP code scattered around the project directory. It will make your life way easier. We thank you very much for watching this short video, and we hope it has helped you understand more about solving GenomePro issues and tips on how to install GenomePro on another server.